Hello, welcome to Fridays with Father. My name is Father Kyle Rink, and I'll be your host today, as usual. Well, today we're talking about papal elections. Well, we've lost our beloved Pope Francis, and we're kind of in a waiting zone right now as we wait for the conclave to meet and elect a new pope. So I just want to talk about this situation. I know there's many news outlets talking about this, and I'm sure you can research all kinds of stuff online, but just wanted to kind of let a couple things, especially bring it to a spiritual perspective too. Of course, we're waiting for about 15 to 20 days after the death of Pope Francis before the cardinals start their meetings, their conclave. Part of this is just logistics, trying to get everyone to travel and finish up their meetings, whatever else they're doing, so they can actually have time to get to Rome, where they all have to be, because they're usually all around different parts of the world. All of the cardinals, so this college of cardinals, they're bishops that have been elevated by the Pope himself to become a cardinal. They wear the red hats. So this is the red hats coming in. Any red hat, any cardinal under the age of 80 is eligible to vote for the new Pope. So what's going to happen is all these cardinals, these cardinal elects, are going to meet in the Vatican, and they're going to have a big meeting. And usually this takes a couple days, is of recent history. They'll come into kind of this special Sistine Chapel, one of the most beautiful chapels there. They take an oath of secrecy, and the idea is that they're kind of separated. They can't have any other information going in. It's just these cardinals and the Holy Spirit kind of guiding this process, right? That's kind of the idea. Each day they're in this conclave. Conclave is that kind of sealed off room. Each day they're in the conclave, there'll be 4 rounds of voting. And until there's a 2/3 agreement that at least 2/3 of the cardinals vote for the same guy, they'll keep on voting. And every time they vote and it's not a 2/3 agreement, there's going to be black smoke. And once there is a 2/3 agreement, then they'll burn those papers and there's going to be white smoke. Now, how do they get that smoke? Well, they just insert different chemicals with those papers to get either black or white. So it's kind of cool how they do that. And of course, once that happens, they have to the person who's elected Pope actually has to accept. They could just say no. I'm not sure that's happened recently, but that's a possibility. So once that person says yes, then the Cardinal Deacon, kind of the senior cardinal, comes out and announces to the world, we have a new Pope. Habemus Papam. Now, I want to kind of take this into a spiritual perspective because, it's kind of an interesting thing, like this whole, oath of secrecy and like all these guys going to the secret room, like what do they talk about? And I think it's really important to remember that the main person involved in all this is the Holy Spirit. And it goes back to even in the scriptures when Judas left and the other 11 disciples said, well, we have to find someone to fill his spot. And it says they prayed to the Holy Spirit and they cast lots, but the lot fell on a certain person, and that was the person they chose. But it says before that they had to be a person of upright moral character. It was someone they trusted, a faithful disciple. It wasn't just Joe Schmo from the street, right? This is someone who'd really shown themselves to be a true disciple of Jesus. And with the help of the Holy Spirit, they chose that one man. Well, when St. Peter was martyred, they continued to do the same thing for him, for Peter. And though the rules have changed of how popes are elected, as the church grew, of course, there's more than just 12 apostles. Now we have hundreds and hundreds of bishops. And of course, those, again, like I said, the rules kind of changed over time. And they've gotten to us where we are now. One of those changes, this is kind of a fun little historical fact. Like I said, most conclaves take a couple days in the recent history. That wasn't true in the past. In the past, it used to be a month, maybe even 2 months. There was 1 year, in the year 1268, it took him 2 years and 9 months to elect the new pope. And eventually Pope Gregory X came out of that. Well, after that election, they decided to make some new rules too. So what we have is our current setup. So like I said, I think the main thing to take into this, there's going to be lots of talk about who's going to be the new pope and what are the conversations happening behind those closed doors. And I'm sure there'll be conversations and things. But the main thing to remember is that it really is the Holy Spirit kind of guiding the church as he has for the past 2,000 years and into the future, however many years we continue to go until Christ comes again. So to have faith that the Lord's going to use whatever we give him, and he's going to use it for good. And that's what's going to happen this election as well in the papal conclave. Well, it's been an interesting episode of Fridays with Father. Let's continue to pray for the repose of the soul of Pope Francis and pray for the cardinals that they can be open to the Holy Spirit, really setting aside their own things and asking the Lord, what does God want us to do as we go forward as a church, as one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. It's been a wonderful day to be with you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you at Mass. God bless.